Dr. Sergei Sumleni is a defense expert and director of European Resilience Initiative Center. He's now joining us live from Berlin. Dr. Sumleni, thank you very much for making time for us and for joining us on this show. The new transition government is striking a reconciliation tone, even calling for solidarity and at the same time pushing for normalcy. First of all, what do you make of the new Syria and the images that have been splashed across the world in the past week?
Hello, and thank you for having invited me. Always a pleasure and honor to be on your show. Well, we see that the situation is far from being easy. There is no country, but literally no country, which have suffered from the decade-long dictatorship and war and brutal oppression. Millions of refugees who left the country. The whole cities like Aleppo being completely destroyed. And there is no country which suffered such a huge trauma, which can turn into a flourish, efficient and happy country within a short period of time, just because the torrent is gone. It's simply impossible. And that means that there are a lot of tasks to be done, to be solved. And the new government will, of course, face them all. And of course, there will be a lot of criticism against the new government, and it will not be a perfect government for sure. And we also cannot exclude the situation that there will be like fighting between some factions within the new government, attempts of territorial secession also. Just think about the division between the Kurdish part of Syria, between the Druzes, etc. But the important thing is that Assad regime backed by Russia is gone. Now that is very important because with the Assad regime and with Russia's terror rates, air raids, terror rates against the civilian population in Syria, there was no chance at all for any development. What will be now, we will see. It can be not successful, it can be successful, but with Assad, it was not successful at all. And that is the first task now, to reinstall like electricity, water supply, food supply, the basic rule of law, and the first international relations of the new government.
Mr. Sumleni, Israel continues to be a bone of contention for Syria. Even with the new face. There are parts in Syria where locals are divided on whether to be integrated as part of Israel or not. How do you think that will play out in the long run?
Well, the history of relations between Syria and Israel is long and by far not easy. And of course, some factors which were a problem in these relations, like the Hezbollah role and the Iranian interest in the region, they are much smaller now because with the new government, of course, there will be not that tolerance for Iranian impact in the region, and Syria will not provide probably its territory for Hezbollah and for attacks on Israel. But it doesn't mean that Israel will turn miraculously to the best friend of Syria. The part of the Golan Heights and other things, they will remain. And we see now that Israel takes a sort of preemptive measures to reduce military capacities of the new government, striking warehouses of Assad army, which Assad army has left. Obviously not to let the new army to get access to all this equipment. And someone says, okay, why they do it? Because the new government already said that they are pro-Israel, they have nothing against Israel. Well, I would argue that Israeli government does not know what happens next. If this government will remain in power, if this government will stay with the same promise to not to go into some conflict with Israel. They just cannot know that, and they strike whatever they can to make a possible confrontation less advantageous for the Syrian government. Someone can say, okay, it is not wise. You need like to involve more there with peaceful means and to provide like more ties. But Israel has their own history with like fighting for 70, 80 years in a hostile environment. They believe that's right. What they do, it's their choice, and they will, of course, face the consequences of their choices, also political consequences. But it will not be easy. I don't believe that the new Syrian government, how like democratic or open they are, will suddenly turn into the best friend of Israel. It will be, I think, will be better than it used to be before, but it will not be like sudden friendship.
All right, we'll have to leave it there. I've been talking to Dr. Sergei Tsumleni, who's a defense expert and also the director of European Resilience Initiative Center. Dr. Tsumleni, thank you very much for your time and for talking to us today.
Thank you so much.
For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.